Testing. 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 1, 2, 3. Hello? Hello? Oh. Hey. Hello. Alright, so this is working. How you guys doing tonight? Well, as you can see, I am in the process of getting my live streaming setup working again. I've been really busy lately, but I got the itch to play some Endless Space 2. That is a good question. What faction would you guys like to see me play tonight? Go for war and war. Okay. A warmongery type faction, huh? We can probably accommodate. I think since it's been a while, we'll go ahead and do a game with the United Empire. Well, the United Empire is nice because they have the ability to go whatever win condition they really want due to their quest line. I've been trying some new galaxy settings too. Not sure if I want to use them for this game. I think we're gonna set it to a more reasonable size here. And then we'll set this to random. Alright, this is probably good just for a test playthrough. So, have you guys seen much of the new faction? the new DLC is definitely one reason why I'm jumping back in. I have not played with them at all, and I've only watched very little from other Let's Players, so I don't have a good grasp of what they are yet. From what I've seen, they have a very strong start, but they have kind of a slow build. Empire Vultures and Umbral Choir are all really fun factions to play. 3 of my favorites. Yeah, I need to investigate their mechanics to figure out what they really are doing. Okay. Well, this is kind of just be get my feet wet video. I've been playing a little bit off camera for the last week or so, so I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of my mechanics again, but this might not be as educational as it could be. Or maybe it'll be very educational as you point out all my mistakes. So let's just get rid of all this because I don't really need any of that. I will let you guys know if you do want to type stuff in the chat. Don't type really long messages or break them up into littler pieces because it'll cut off what you say if the message is too long. So keep that in mind. I don't have 2 monitors set up right now, so I can't see what's going on beyond what shows up on my screen here. So I'm gonna... That's not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit because it's really loud for me. There we go. Okay, so the very first thing that I always like to do is check out my scout ship. I pointed this out in my 7 tips for starting the game on turn 1. And the main thing that I'm looking for here is if there's anything that I want to change. Usually there's not, but most importantly is this number right here, which is my movement speed of my scout ship. Because I'm going to attach my hero to this fleet early in the game, 100% of the time pretty much, I need to make sure that their speeds match. And so I'm going to be shooting for a speed of 6 on my hero's ship. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do to edit this ship right now that's really worth doing. So some of the other factions have different speeds because they start with better engines, and that's why I always check because I don't remember. Yeah. Like that. So I can read most of that, if you want to call that reading, but it did fit quite a bit on there. So we're going to go ahead and come back out. We'll check our hero next. And we're going to edit his ship. I currently have a base engine for a speed of 4. Throw a second one in, I'm up to a speed of 6. Notice the upgrade cost is 50 dust. If I go ahead and leave this like this, I can make it a little cheaper by pulling off all of the weapons. And if I really want to, I can throw up to 2 additional probes in here for a nominal fee of 8. So we'll probably go ahead and roll with this. We're not likely to get a lot of use out of those extra probes, but we'll get a little bit of use out of them. And then we'll go ahead and attach him to this fleet. And we always want to make sure when you're starting the game to do that before you scout any curiosities on your home system, so you make sure your hero gets the XP for them. Alright, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and look at what our next technology is going to be. I noticed that we already started with a cache of Hyperium in our home system, so I'm just going to go ahead and queue that up for now. And nothing on the economy that really matters at this point. Laws. We'll talk about laws in a minute. Let's go ahead and look at our system and see what we got here. Ooh, that's not bad at all. So this is actually a pretty strong start. We always have a really strong start with our home planet being a Terran temperate fertile is a really good starting planet, especially when you already have Xeno industrial infrastructure right out the gate. The fact that we have a fertile planet means that we're going to get a little bit more use out of Xeno industrial infrastructure. The last two planets, not as desirable, but we're going to go ahead and queue that up right away. The reason that I'm going to queue this up before either of these starting buildings is because this is going to give me 30 industry right out the gate, and it also sets me up for an additional 20 industry and also the claiming of our strategics as soon as we colonize this planet. So this is basically going to be our first 10 or so turns of the game, and then after that we'll go back and see where we're at. Let's see. Anything else I want to do? Oh yeah, let's zoom in. So this level, we have 0 curiosities here. That really kind of blows. With 0 curiosities here, I'm tempted to throw probes down lanes in hopes that we get lucky and get vision on one of the systems, and we did not. I would hate to waste my movement moving down one of these lanes. So we are going to send our hero down one of the lanes. And we'll wait and send our settler ship once we have a better idea of what the best place to settle is. There's usually a couple of really bad systems nearby, and then one that's appreciably better than the rest. And that's the one we want to try to settle with our first settler. Delaying that for a few turns isn't that big of a deal. It just means that you're going to get more food on your home system. One of the downsides to factions that settle with colony ships is once they've settled an outpost, they start pulling food from your other systems, which slows down their growth. So we don't have anything else that we really need to do except consider laws. So we're currently at 50%, which is content. I could push this up to happy with Toys for Boys, but that would increase the cost of these or decrease the industry output, so I'm not sure I want to do that. We are going to get 8 approval starting the second turn of the game, and that 8 approval comes from our representatives. For our politics, there's a bonus of +8 if your leading political party also is represented on your system. And so that's going to put us up to 58, which isn't enough to push us into happy. So probably go ahead and run cram for exam. This isn't going to penalize us in any way because we're going to be in the same tier of approval, but we'll get a little bit of extra science for a few turns. And that did drop a little bit of time off of this. You'll see this go up here in a second. In fact, we'll just watch it right now. So there's my 8. And now when I mouse over that, you can see +8 from leading political parties, -6 for cram from exam. Alright, so that's what I was afraid of. And unfortunately, this is going to be a bad direction to send either of our ships right now. So it looks like we're going to send both of these ships. Before we do that, let me check my settler ship. Make sure it's got a movement of 6. Yeah, see, it's only got a movement of 5. So we'll go ahead and give it... I can pull the gun off of that to make this a little cheaper. And we can now merge these ships together. Actually, I'm not going to merge them. I'll send them down separately because The settler is just a little bit faster than the other one. It's unlikely to matter, but... And let's hope that this system over here is a good one. It's not looking good. Alright, well, our settler's not going to settle here, so we're going to keep moving. And there are, again, no curiosities here. This is insane. I've never seen a game with so few curiosities since I started playing again. Okay. That was a boring couple first turns. Oof. This is likely to be a single system out this way, but I guess that's where we go. We'll stop here and maybe shoot some probes out. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a rough start for us. I've been good. I've been busy with work, and work has not been fun, so trying to find some fun things to do with my time outside of work. Getting back into streaming and recording videos might just be one of them. Alright, so this is kind of what I was talking about earlier when I said the Empire has a lot of options. The Empire can basically become the Sheridan, stay the Empire, or become the Mizari, and each of these quest lines basically kind of slingshots you into a particular end game. You can mix and match them too. It really don't have to go down one or the other path, but there's definitely one that is more militarily focused. And I'm thinking if we started in a really crappy part of the Empire, or the galaxy, then the best way to get the better territory is to take it from other people, maybe. And so this is actually a really easy quest to accomplish. Trader's Reach is usually a pretty good system. It has a good planet on. I shouldn't say it's a good system. It's usually a small system with like 2 planets, but it has a second Terran planet. So 600 dust is also relatively easy to acquire. This one would be a good quest to do, except we've gotten no curiosities in this constellation so far. I think we're going to go military. I don't know how much military we'll get to this game, but why not? I like to blow stuff up when I'm stressed out. Alright, we got 6 probes, so we are going to get some use out of this. Let's send one down the lane. And then I'll send a couple of them off to either side of the lane. And I'm going to send a couple this direction just in case. We uncover something that way. And I think I'm going to just wait here rather than using the last of my movement. I might as well send my last probe out. Just because maybe we'll send it out this way and uncover something down here. This will be one of the really rare times where I'm not going to get my hero to level 3 before he goes back on turn 9. It has happened, but not very often. I've hit level 9 on almost every game, or level 3 before turn 9, on almost every game I've played of Endless Space 2. Alright, well that's a good looking system. 5 planets is always a good start to a good looking system. Got our science accomplished. Found some Eden incense. Speaking of Eden incense, let's find out what are our boosters. So we need the red sang and whatever this crystal thing is. Alright. Well, we got curiosities up here, so let's go ahead and get the XP for those as quickly as possible. And we have nothing we can colonize, but we can take a look at the system and see if there's something relatively easy to get on. Looks like steps. We could probably get on that world pretty quickly. Then we've got snow, barren, toxic, and toxic. So this has good potential in the late game once you can start terraforming some of these other planets. In the early game, this is pretty rough. I almost want to keep moving. I might as well, right? Because I can't settle there anyways. And it's going to take me more than a turn to get steps. Steps is this technology, so we're going to have to get 2 technologies before we can even get to steps. Public-private partnerships is a pretty important building early on, so we'll go ahead and grab that next. Okay, I just don't have much going on yet. I'm hoping that this is a decent system or this is a decent system, but we're getting pretty unlucky here. Okay, well, so I really should have gone the other direction. Let's see what we got here. A forest system. Ice, ice, and barren. At least it's something I could get on right away. Alright, we'll send this guy back. I like the amoeba quite a bit. +5 food on planets is actually really good. How much of our influence do we want to spend? I guess we'll spend as much as we can. Thought we had enough for 2. It went up a little bigger than I thought. Alright. We can scout their curiosity for some more positive vibes from them. Let's go ahead and see what's on this step world. Okay. Deciduous trees. Transvine. And more Eden incense. So this is a luxury rich system. And we did get to level 2. So that's good. Because I almost always put this guy on my home world to start with, I like to use the abilities that boost his governing ability. And this one is by far, I think, the most critical. Because of how you use influence with the Empire, I always put 2 points in it first. So that's what we'll do. Alright, we'll get rid of some of these messages. Yep. Okay. So we do have quite a few curiosities right here that we can get. We might be able to get him to level 3. In fact, I may keep him out here a turn or 2 longer than normal just to get him to level 3 before I bring him back. Because it's really, really slow to get him levels over here through industry until you get your industry engine online. It's showing that I have one more. Let's go ahead and get that done. I've seen some pretty interesting maps. This isn't the worst one I've ever seen. The oddest one that I've seen that happens not completely irregularly is when you play with vaulters and you start in a map where you absolutely cannot settle on turn 1. That's happened a number of times to me now, at least 3 that I can count out in my head. It's fairly rare. I've played a lot of vaulters games, but yeah, you can get really bad starts with vaulters in particular. Anybody can get a bad start though. It's really a matter of making the most of whatever start you get. So far, we've made really, really bad decisions with our settler, like just unlucky decisions where I chose to go down the wrong lanes over and over and over again. But there's nothing you can do about that. And since you can't use the probe cheat that we used to use back in the day, where you send out like 12 probes right from the beginning of the game, the probe nova, as I like to call it, they kind of nerfed that away, so you kind of have to take your chances. Yeah, we'll just wait a turn. Alright, so, and we're going to get this building done next turn. What's our population look like? We are still 2 turns away from our next population, which will be an imperial. We'll have to check our approval rating at that point and make sure that our law's not being a problem. Oh yes, we have a hack now. Well, normally this would be more exciting, but we'll go ahead and hack them. And then, since I have nothing else to do, I'll go ahead and throw that there. Endless Space 2 is really good. The worst part about Endless Space 2 is there's still quite a few bugs, and the AI is completely brain dead. Endless Legend, with the latest version of the Endless Legend community patch, has improved the AI so dramatically in that game that it's almost like a different game. I really wish somebody would take the time to do something similar with Endless Space 2. I know SB's talked about it. It's not an easy task, and the team of guys that have done it on their own time for free for the ELCP, if you haven't tried that out and you're a fan of Endless Legend, you should definitely check it out. It's amazing. But yeah, Endless Space 2 is just a really good game. Man, our probes are hitting nothing. Look at this. I am forever unlucky, I guess. Surely we've got to get lucky with something here. Alright. Well, it's going to be close. Yeah, it's amazing work that they've done. I've been playing Endless Legend since basically the day it released. I followed it when it was in beta. And it's just progressively gotten better with every DLC except for the AI. And then I found ELCP, I guess shortly after the Kapaku expansion had come out, and I started playing ELCP after I got Kapaku, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. Really, really cool. Really, really great improvement to the way AI and diplomacy and everything interacted in that game. I was so impressed, and I've never played a game of Endless Legend without ELCP since. It's just not even worth it anymore to play it with the vanilla AI. Okay, so if we take a look at him, we can see that we are at 36 of 50 experience. We need a little bit more. There are quite a few curiosities left here. I'm going to stay here an extra turn or two to pick up these curiosities. I think it's worth it. Yeah, Endless Legend, it's getting a little long in the tooth in terms of the game engine and how old it is. It's still a really good game. The graphics still look really good. There are definitely some things that could be improved, but yeah, it's just a great game. Everything Amplitude makes is really good. Even the first Endless Space, I don't know if you guys have played Endless Space 1. Even the first Endless Space was really, really good for its time. It's sort of been eclipsed by Endless Space 2 because Endless Space 2 is better in almost every way, but the first one was still really, really good. If I play Endless Legend on camera, I will definitely play with the ELCP. $50 turns. Yeah, that's still pretty early game. I would say in the endless games, like turn 50 to 60 is early game. 60 to like 120 is mid game. 120 to 180 is late game. Anything beyond that is end game, basically. For a normal speed game, anyways. So we could bring our hero back here. I don't think there's any reason to. I got 4 curiosities. I can definitely hit my next level faster than if I brought him back. That's funny. Endless Space 1 is still playable on older hardware, that's for sure. Funny story, the reason that I became aware of Endless Space 2 wasn't even Endless Legend. It was actually an old Total Biscuit review of the game that he did years and years ago. Total Biscuit was a really cool guy that did a lot of video game reviews. And that's where I first came across the Endless Space series, was watching his video on it. So alright, well, we made it. We can now colonize. I totally agree with that. I've finished far fewer games of Endless anything than I have started. The opening of every game of Endless, Legend, Space, whatever, is it's like a game of chess. And it's way more entertaining for me than the end game tends to be. Alright, let's go ahead and get our colony down here. We have the money and the influence to go ahead and boost this, which I think we're probably going to do both of. But before we do that, we're going to abolish that law and get the new colony law, because it reduces by some margin the amount of time that this is going to take. And this is going to reduce it further. And this will get our second system up faster, which we are certainly behind. Okay. And there's a lot of curiosities out here. I kind of want to stay out here longer, but we'll need to get our hero back before too long. Alright, so we've got a technology completed. We no longer have to prioritize steps since we're not jumping on that world. What I probably will prioritize is spin projects, which I think are... I think this is completely underrated, and I think every faction should focus it more. It's the only specialization that I would go out of my way for early game, because influence is one of those resources that's so hard to come by. Yep. Yeah, I rarely get past turn 100. We'll see. I'm probably not going to get past turn 100 in this game tonight, especially at the pace that I'm playing. But we'll play for at least a half hour or more here and see how far we get. But yeah, let's go back to what I was talking about with research and spin projects. Spin projects, super important. It's one of the fastest, earliest, easiest ways to get access to influence, which allows you to run laws indefinitely, some of the laws indefinitely, or build up stockpiles of influence for other activities. 7 turns, we'll get that done. I don't think there's anything else that we would rather be doing with the next 7 turns of research. We are going to have to worry about pirates scooping some of these systems up, but it's kind of a rough start. There's not a lot that I would be really worried about pirates taking. The other thing that's really cool about spin projects that most people aren't aware of is that once you get a little bit of extra influence in your system, generating every turn, the rate at which your influence bubble grows is directly based on the amount of influence you produce each turn. And so the earlier you get spin projects up and running, the larger your influence bubble will be in the mid game, and the more likely you'll grab some of these nearby nodes or cover them up so other players can't take them. So especially in a really dense system, it's more important. Unfortunately for us, we're not really close to anything, so it's going to take way long before we grab even this node here. But okay, just end our turn again, I guess. Yep. Yeah, they'll be dropping anytime between about turn 10 and 15 is when the first pirates hit the map. It's one of the most frustrating things, again, playing with the vaulters, because of the timing of the way they have to colonize planets. A lot of times you'll finally get the Argosy out, get ready to go colonize the system, and right about the turn that you want to drop your Argosy on a brand new juicy planet full of great resources, boom, the pirates take it, and then you've got to find a backup plan. Alright, so this is happening here because we're shipping so much of our food off system that we're actually going to lose population. That's a bad thing. The good thing is all of that food is going over here, and it will help this system get up and running faster. So yeah, restarting maps till you get a solid start can be one way to learn how to play. It's really tough to play when you don't have a good start, but I would say that I would always play at least till turn 30 to 50, even on a really bad start, just to see what you're capable of doing with a bad start, because then you have a better idea of what your power curve is for different factions in different starting situations. I can tell you right now, we're not going to have 4 or 5 systems by turn 50. That's going to be unlikely. This, if I had been a little bit more aware of the map before we set our quest for the military, I would have definitely considered taking Trader's Reach, because Trader's Reach is going to be a system right off of here with 2 planets, one of which is really decent. It's a great way to make up for a bad start, but a lot of times you don't know you have a bad start by the time that quest triggers, which was the case in our situation. Okay, we got 2 more of these. No gravity and XP. Yeah, that sucks. Alright, and you can see we've finally hit level 3 with our hero now. Make sure I hit apply this time. So now every single one of my starting population on my system, when I put him back as a governor, are going to start generating 2 influence, which allows me to run a lot of laws or build a good stockpile of influence that we can use for buyouts. I could keep him out here to get another couple of curiosities. In fact, let's just see how many of them there are over here. 3, 4, so we got 4 curiosities here. That's going to be at least 2 turns to get those 4 curiosities. I think it's worth it, especially since we're not going to get a lot done over here anyways until then. So I'm going to go ahead and get this finished, then we'll go to drone networks. I basically always prioritize industry the first 20 turns of the game or so. So whatever will give me the most industry gets put in the queue before anything else. And then everything else gets put in as needed. So cerebral reality, when we start to get really low on dust, will get kicked in. Public-private partnerships, once we have probably 2 of these worlds colonized, this is worth like 50 science with these 2 worlds. So it probably gets kicked in right after drone networks. And then we'll see where we're at from there. But industry is really critical in the early game. Do I want to spend part of this turn moving? Yes, let's do this. So we'll move here, we'll get the 2, and then maybe we'll see what we do. We might uncover more. It's going to be a couple more turns before he gets back home. But we could have had him back on turn 11 if we really wanted to. At level 3. Oh, well that sucks. Well, let's get one of these. Life form, life form. Alright. We'll wait 1 turn. Oh, we don't even want to wait 1 turn. The first pirate's going to pop out next turn. We're going to get attacked right away. Let's see what kind of pirate ship this is.
Speak.
So the first ship that's going to come out is 32 attack with laser weapons. I can tell it's laser weapons because of the accuracy penalties for long and short range. With a 32 attack power, that's going to beat us because I took the guns off of my ship. And we have guns. Hey, Peter. Thanks for joining me this evening. I haven't streamed on YouTube ever, so this is actually a first for me. I was just testing it out today. I used to stream on Twitch, and then Twitch got funny and buggy and glitchy and was not working. And so now I'm testing alternatives. So I'm glad that it's working. Everybody seems to be enjoying it so far. Vaulters are definitely my favorite faction in the entire Endless series. by far. We're going to have to move our ship right away. This ship that's spawning is going to be able to destroy us, so I can't stick around for these lovely curiosities that I'd love to grab. We knew that was going to happen. We're losing population because I'm sending so much food to Botha to help colonize it faster. So let's just go ahead and I'm not familiar with the Battle Brothers game. Tap, 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 tap. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright, we got away from him. That's good. Hopefully we can get here, get these curiosities, and then maybe head down here and improve this a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of, this is a really weird, rough start. So, thinking ahead, where do we grab our next system? I think it's got to be Varen. I think we do grab that Steps world. There's a lot of resources there, and these resources will basically fix our economy. This system has a couple curiosities, but there's not nearly as much over here in terms of habitable planets. Ice planets are not very fun to start on. Barren planets are terrible until you can terraform them. The two large barren planets do pose some value once we get to terraforming. Alright. Can't think of anything else we need to do this turn. We are halfway to our goal of 800 manpower in our empire. There's actually... This number might actually be the one that it's counting. Total manpower, empire-wide, is 620. I can't remember. Let's see. Reach 800 capacity. I bet you that is what it's referring to, is the total. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see. Okay. I might have to check it out. Bandit... What did you call it again? Bandit Brothers? Somebody's discovered the academy. Alright, we got... three... Where do we want to send? I'm going to send my last two probes this way. And that will hopefully uncover whatever system's out here. Battle Brothers, okay. See, it's only showing 500 here. Well, it's showing the 400 of 500 that we have here. But it's not showing the manpower that we actually have on ships. And that's why the total manpower is 620 here. Because our ship manpower is being included. Battle Brothers is a hex-based combat, but kinda mount and blade overworld merc company management. I'll definitely have to look in to see what that one is all about. Okay. So we don't have a lot to do with this patrol ship anymore, so I am going to go ahead and bring him back now. A little bit later than I normally would. So my curiosity is it this number that needs to hit 800? Or is it this number that needs to hit 800? And we'll have to see what happens here when this number crosses the threshold, because this one should cross before the other does. Now, one of the things that's going to be problematic is this number here is going to go down significantly as soon as we get this system up and running, because it's going to start pulling from this pool of available manpower to fill the planetary defenses, and it takes several turns to do that. This number here will not change because that pool isn't disappearing necessarily, it's just going to another location. So alright, we need to move this ship. I want to move him down here and scout these curiosities off of the IMEX system so we can get a little bit faster approval going here. And we should be getting a lot more influence per turn starting now because our hero is now here. And we're going to get the buffs, which may or may not be already applied, I'm not sure. If we mouse over here, we probably see +8 from planet. Yeah, so it is already giving us some. Our hack, neutral hack active. Oh, this is just telling us that these guys and pirates now have defenses. If you manage to get a hack to them before that message around turn 15, they can't even defend against it. Okay, as soon as this is done, we want to get that step world colonized, so we're going to go ahead and grab this. Election is showing that the scientist party is in the lead at the moment. That's interesting. So the Umbral Choir's manpower issues are really interesting. If you watch my second series on the Umbral Choir about snowballing the early game, I talk a little bit about how to fix the manpower problem. Yeah. It's not a perfect fix, but there is a way with enough food on your home system where you can basically run the chain gang every turn and not lose population because you're producing so much food. The problem is it stalls your industry completely, but 4 turns of chain gang without losing any population is a pretty powerful way to replace your manpower. So you might watch that series at some point if you haven't already. Alright, spin projects are done. We'll want to take advantage of that. And public-private partnerships are done. So that's good. We could go for infinite supermarkets and potentially bump our approval rating up to the next tier. I think the first thing we're going to do is get spin projects rolling. And I think we'll go ahead and get cerebral reality put down too. This building is going to be really strong once we get a few more population. I might even consider doing it now. So we can move all of the people that are working this system over here. It's going to slow down our food and our dust, which is kind of problematic, and our science. But it'll give us a little bit more industry, and a lot more industry once we get that other building done. This building here. Each population gets an extra four industry when working on that planet. Let's see what it looks like if we move everybody over. So what is our dust? Our dust goes down to 0. Our industry cut it. That little bit of industry that we got just from moving them over did cut a turn off cerebral reality, because I'm pretty sure that was at 4. Alright, so we're gonna switch this up like that. And we'll go ahead and move over here for now. A little bit of min-maxing. I don't know if it's really going to be that helpful. Prioritizing industry is almost always the right way to min-max. Got a savannah world over here. We can continue down here and get these. I've got one more probe. Is there a reason I'm not moving? Am I just out of movement? Where are we going to throw this one? I'm not likely to hit anything if I throw it this way. Maybe we throw it out one of these directions. Yeah, let's throw it this way, see if maybe there's another constellation down here on the tip of this spiral. There usually is. Ooh, that's good. I haven't checked this yet. Usually I check it at the beginning of the game. So, influence bonus is the bonus for controlling 3 or more. We're about to hit 3, actually. We'll hit 2 with this, and then this could be our 3rd one. Perhaps we accelerate it. We've got one more turn of praise rolling, and then this cost will drop, and maybe we'll hit it again. That actually helped give us a little more dust. I'm getting some resources from these guys now. Oh my goodness, look at that. Double pirates right there. So the good news is whatever faction's on the other end of this constellation has to get through 2 pirates to mess with us. The bad news is we have the same predicament. Alright, spin projects are done. 1 turn away from that. And we should be really close. Yeah, 1 turn away from this. Oof. Alright. Well, at least we have a healthy potential population here, because we're not going to be able to get on these planets very early at all. A forested world is both temperate and fertile, which means these buildings give you 30 additional resources. So we're going to kick that into the queue first. 30 industry is worth it. Let's see. He finished what he was doing. And we got our population back. Let's go ahead and get this done for more industry per population pip. We are now happy. That's because we got the 25 approval from the colony law we were running. We don't need to run this law anymore. We get to keep this regardless of whether that law's running or not. But you want to make sure you have it running the turn that you get a colony if you want to get that bonus. And then we have some options here. We could potentially run cram for exam some more. Or we could go lower fleet costs and start building a fleet. One of the problems with this law is if you start with it and you don't use it in the first 20 turns of the game, a lot of times you will lose your ability to use it at all, because this faction, your secondary faction, will leave the whatchamacallit, the Senate. They won't be part of your government anymore, and you don't get to use it. Yeah. Well, pirate layers leave behind ruined pirate layers now as an anomaly, which is nice. A nice little buff for taking the time to knock them out that you get. I thought that was a neat little thing they added to the game recently. How many turns till the election? Like 1? Yeah. So we're not going to get any use out of that law, unfortunately. Because the militarists are almost certainly going to get kicked out. Let's go cram for exam. Let's get a little more science rolling. Again, we should still be happy. We're at -8 now for running cram for exam, but we're fine. At least for the short term. That 25 that we just got is not going to last forever. So we'll want to keep an eye on that. Alright, we already dealt with all that. Yeah, we got some more. Let's see. Atmospheric. Or ruins. Did the quest run yet? No. Okay. So right around now, there's going to be a quest to search for atmospheric. So anytime you can avoid grabbing atmospheric and then pick them up soon, you should do that. So we'll kind of leave this here until that quest queues. And then hopefully we'll get a small reward for it. Should be queuing up any minute now. This is almost always the right one. Scavenge ram scoops are incredibly powerful engines that are cheap, and I have verified on camera, at least in a previous version of the game, that plus 25% does stack, and so there's basically no engine in the game that's more powerful than stacking ram scoops. Even ones that have higher movement points don't move you as far as 3 or 4 ram scoops on a single ship. So it may or may not have been patched by now, but back when Umbral Choir, I think, released, I had checked that on camera and shown it to be true.
Be content. Fortune smiles, for Horatio is willing to speak with you.
So this probably is the best news that we've had this entire game, because if Horatio is our neighbor, war is definitely a real possibility for us, and one that we will very likely win. Horatio has very weak fleets compared to just about every other faction. The fact that he's over here somewhere, I didn't even see where. Okay, there's this ship right there. This is just a scout ship, but we certainly do not want him colonizing this before we do, because it's one of the better systems we have access to. So I need to get another settler as quickly as possible. I can do it in 2 turns. Let's go ahead and do it in 2 turns and get it going, so we can get this settled ASAP. That'll give us a core of 1, 2, 3, 4 potential systems early, you know, before turn 40 maybe. And that's not a terrible start. It's certainly not the best start I've ever seen. He's such a bonehead. I love Horatio now. I used to not like Horatio at all. And then I watched SB play a couple of games with Horatio, and I'm so much... I don't know what the word is. He just makes me smile. Horatio tends to blob out pretty quick. You might want to speed up your conversion of IMAX to secure it. Yes, we did want to look at that, didn't we? This price dropped recently, and so now we can afford another one of those. I've been playing a lot of games with Horatio off camera. Yeah, it's fun. Okay, I'm going to wait another turn or 2 on this curiosity, because I want that quest to queue up before I grab it. We did get our research done. I think it's time to consider... We need desert lava... Ice baby, and what else? Snow, toxic, and barren. Man, that's just a rough set of planets there. What do we have here? Savannah, ocean, and ash. Okay. So technology-wise, we could grab the Baron. Before we do that, though, let's consider getting some of this stuff done. I need an Ash World. We're not in critical need of that. But I think we do want galactic commodities. Galactic commodities is gonna... Those 2 technologies are going to give us the ability to upgrade this, and we'll probably use Eden Incense, because that's a really powerful one for the Empire, just because of the way we get to use our influence. Okay. It's looking like scientists or ecologists are probably going to get into the government. I'm actually okay with either one of those. I would actually prefer scientists over ecologists, because they have the Dirty Hands Act, which I would love to run for the next 20 turns. Perfect. Alright, so we're going to get rid of Cram for exam.
Generosity
Alright,
is a
come
trait of the honorable.
The academy needs to evolve, and they want my resources.
Speak quickly.
I'm not too keen on giving up my resources, so we're going to pass on that for now. And we're going to get this rolling. And that's going to take some time off of all of these lovely things going on. We are on the very edge of being ecstatic. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. That quest still hasn't queued. And I think it's because the Academy was already discovered. That quest only queues if nobody's discovered the Academy by this point in time. So we don't really need to wait any longer. I forgot that we had somebody uncovered the Academy on like turn 2 of the game. It's kind of weird. Okay, I don't think there are any curiosities left for us to deal with. So I think the best bet is to get our ship over here and maybe start a blockade of this system to keep any more of Horatio's scouts and, more importantly, his colony ships out of our space. We'll gladly take the hit to science for a free technology. That is almost always the right thing to do. And now I gotta think about this.
Already speak?
Be the first one to contribute to the Academy. We have 214 influence. We could give it all to the Academy right now. And then see where the chips fall. I'd rather use it for other things, but maybe I just put one more point in this and then give them what's left.
Again?
So shift. Yeah. If you hold shift and you click a button, it usually adds everything. Oh, there you go. Now you got a little tooltip. Alright.
The Academy will remember.
Do we want to change this? I like the spear. Yeah, that's probably fine. Hey, thanks for joining us. Happy gaming to you too. Alright, we're going to go ahead and end the turn. We now have galactic commodities that pretty much single-handedly takes care of our economy. Atmospheric filtration will give us another approval building, but more importantly will give us the upgrade with our luxuries, which we'll be using shortly. Hey, thanks Bob the Frog. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever streamed on YouTube. I used to do a little streaming on Twitch, and then Twitch stopped working for me for some reason. But I just decided on a whim to try this tonight, and it seems to be working pretty well. If you did miss a bunch, the video will be saved and uploaded to YouTube tomorrow probably, so you can watch the beginning if you're really curious to see what's been going on. But yeah, we just kicked off a game of Empire, and we got a really rough start, but we're making the most of it. It looks like the Sophons are also in our space. That's not cool. That's a little scarier than Horatio. Horatio is pretty easy to beat down. The Sophons have some really powerful ship technology. This hero is a governor, so we're going to focus on the abilities that allow him to govern better. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of sterile planets on our home system. And we're not in dire need of dust, so we're going to go with the food and industry. We've successfully hacked our friends, the amoeba. We're going to improve our image with them and hope to get this bar completely filled.
Welcome to the Sophonoty. There are some
Yeah. So they must have also started in our constellation or have the ability to travel between constellations. That's kind of curious. I think I forgot to get this guy out and send him on his way, unfortunately. Could have done that a turn ago, I think. This is going to be completed in one turn. What do we want to work on next? I guess infinite supermarkets, maybe. This buff that we're getting is about to wear off. The plus 25 from recently colonized system. And so if we want to stay in the happy range, we're going to need at least this and maybe more. This is actually really worth it. We have 2 strategic deposits, increasing this each by 1 for a cost of 8 dust per turn. You can sell these things for way more than 8 dust a turn. So even when they're like dirt cheap, selling both of them will get us back the 8 dust and then some. So this is probably worthwhile. And we'll consider those some other point in the game here. We're going to cross the threshold here. We can do a quest with these guys, and we should try to do that. Also, another hacking operation.
Speak.
We could try to improve our relationship with the pirates. Oh, you are very, very misinformed there, Bob. The Vultures small ships have some of the best in the game. At least their scout ships are some of the strongest scout ships in the game. But yes, the Horatio ships are not... It's complicated. Their ships aren't particularly bad in and of themselves. The thing that's bad about them is, for the same quality of ship, roughly speaking, it costs more industry to make them. It's a penalty that the Horatio naturally have throughout the game. And it basically just means that it's really hard for them to win any kind of war of attrition through ships. Their ships are actually pretty reasonable in terms of the slots that they're allotted. They're really flexible compared to a lot of other factions. Like the Empire ships, there's like 1 or 2 ways to build them efficiently, and that's about it. The Horatio ships have a lot of variety in the way that you can customize their ships, which means they're not great at any particular thing, but they're very flexible. Yes, Empire ships are really, really strong. Empire and I believe the Riftborn ships are really, really strong. The Vultures' attack ships are less good than their scout ships. That's not to say their scout ships are better in terms of fighting, because they're not. But if you compare the Vulture scout ship to the rest of the scout ships in the game, it's really, really strong. If you compare the Vulture's attack class ships to the rest of the field, the rest of the field's attack class ships, yeah, you're right. They're pretty mediocre. I think we're going to try to get the pirates on our side and maybe use the pirates to help us deal with some of these guys. How much dust do I
Yeah.
have? I have enough dust to give them a little bit of support.
Works for me.
Let's go ahead and do that. And then let's go ahead and hack. That's going to be 9 turns. And I'm going to put encryption on this system in order to slow down any trace that they try to get on us. And we should be able to improve our image even more, and hopefully we get our the support of the pirates over time. Alright, so that's been done. The question is, what do I want to do with the rest of this dust? I guess we could support them one more
Yeah.
time.
No such thing as bad business.
We'll see what happens there. I haven't done a lot of pirate negotiations, but this might be the game that makes this work. We can use them as a buffer zone and even use them to threaten and harass the enemy. Alright, so we've got sovereignty of these guys. We can assist them now, which I think we should attempt to do. Search the curiosity at Takim. Okay, well, I guess you're turning around and coming back. Actually, no you're not. We're going to go here first, and then I'm going to retrofit that ship. And while I'm doing that, let's go ahead and move this in front of the queue so that I can get some better weapons on it too while I'm at it. I guess the other option is I could just create a new ship here. Let's do that. We'll send that scout ship over there, and then we'll finish doing what we were doing here with this ship. He's still going there. Alright, everything looks correct at the moment. All of our ships moving. Take 5 turns to get over there.
What can I do for you?
Ubiquitous surveillance in 2. Alright, so this is over 900 and we still haven't finished that quest yet, which means it must be talking about this number. Which means that I may have goofed up one little thing. Alright. Let's go ahead and get this going. And while we're at it, we should probably run New Colony, which will speed that up by a few turns. We should also select, Botha as the planet of choice for food. Ah, crap. The pirates attacked us. Alright. I don't think we win this fight. He's going to go to medium range. let's go ahead and try it and see what happens. I'm pretty sure we're going to lose this ship, but... He went hard target. So we started at medium range, so our weapons are about even at medium range. If we survive the first round, we'll do a lot more damage in the short range phase of combat. So he's doing more damage to us. We're at about half health. We should start to do more damage to him here very soon. Once we get to the short range part of combat. We've just about caught up to him. Yeah, we're winning this fight now. I'm not sure if we're going to kill him before we finish, but we actually will win this fight, which is interesting. It's going to be very close. I think we're going to beat him. Yep. Just barely. Alright, well. I'm sure that didn't help our relations with the pirates.
What can I do for you?
It doesn't seem to have affected it all that much. Their next fleet is also going to be similarly equipped energy weapons. So, we'll want to retrofit these ships to deal with that. We can have better engines. We could have better probes. And next turn we can have better guns. So we'll wait a turn. Ubiquitous surveillance is going to give us the option to unlock these inter-tier things here. So we'll get new laser weapons and new bullet weapons. And we'll take care of that then. Until then, I'm going to go ahead and disband this ship. Just to put him out of harm's way in case somebody else comes by until he's healed up. And this ship is not quite where he needs to be yet, so we'll give him a little more time. We need to make sure we save 100 dust for Takim anyways. Big Data Shipyards is now completed. So we do have a deposit here of strategics, which means this building is actually pretty good to have. But I think I am going to go ahead and put these two in front of it. Give it more time to build population before we put that in the queue. I do, however, want to get spin projects up so that we're getting all the influence we can get. Yes, we did look at that just a moment ago. I don't know if you caught it, but I checked, and the Empire-wide manpower is well above the 800 that we needed for that quest, and we still haven't triggered the quest yet. So the number that is actually calculating for that quest is this number here. Now, we have reached a point at which we can have 800 in that Empire pool. But we got to fill this up, and it's going to be difficult to fill this up if we're building ships or if we're getting too many systems. Yeah. I just looked at it real briefly in between the last couple turns here. So this is the number that has to hit 800, which means that I kind of made a mistake. I probably should have gone with this tech first because it gives us impervious bunkers. And that allows us to add a significant amount of manpower to our system defenses. So, but we'll get there. I'm not too worried about it. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Alright, so we can get a new hero, depending on which one of these we choose to do. I really like Petra. But we are playing a military style game, and we are going to be building some new ships, military class ships, so this is probably the one that's going to be easiest to get. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that one for now. Hadrilenko is very, very good military commander. Ah, interesting. So I'm curious how we achieved this. Reach 800 capacity in your empire. How do I have 800 capacity currently? Where in the world are you calculating this number from? Because I clearly had over 800 like a turn or two ago when I just looked at this, and that quest had not been completed. Huh. I am not sure how we're getting that number. Because these guys are giving us manpower every turn, but well, no. I mean, the ship's still here. If you look at the ship, it's still showing 40 manpower on the ship. So that manpower didn't go back into this pool. And even if it did, this number isn't... It isn't at 800. You know, the only thing that changed between last turn and this turn is this number changed. And the reason that this number changed is because we got this, which then unlocked that. Plus 200 capacity on Empire. Is that what this is reading? Capacity. So this quest is super easy to achieve then. If all you have to do is reach 800 capacity, then building your first tech in the military tree should get you to 1000 capacity. Because this is 200, I think you start with 6. Huh. Capacity is the magic word, yeah. So it is capacity, it's not the actual number of people. Well, that's interesting. I never really read that thoroughly enough to know how that worked. I'm going to have to play around with that in my next game. There are two ways to increase capacity on your empire. One is through leveling up the research in the military tech. Each one of these tiers gives you a capacity increase. There may also be a handful of technologies that increase capacity in some fashion. And then the other way to increase capacity is through systems. Each system will increase your capacity by some amount. I don't remember how that amount works exactly, but every system you get increases your capacity by some margin. I'm not sure if planets do. I think it's just the system. So we started with like 500, and then we got these two systems, which put us at like 600. That doesn't even add up. Somehow we got to 1,000. I'll look at it more closely in one of my next playthroughs. Cool. So now we have Punisher drives. So now our guns are even better. And now I can go ahead and edit this design. So, better engines. Better probes. Let's go better guns. And actually, against pirates that don't have slug weapons, yes, you are correct, Bob. Each tier of military tech does have a bonus to manpower capacity. I'm fairly certain, though, so it's got to be more than just that. So let me show you why. If I can get out of here. This number when we started the game, I don't remember what it was at. But when I achieved the tier bonus, it gave me plus 200 capacity, which put me at 1,000. But prior to that, I had to have been at 800. And if I was at 800, then I would have already passed the quest. So something else got me more. And I'm fairly certain that it's systems. I guess we'll find out here in a second, because I'm about to achieve this system through a quest that I'm going to complete. And then we'll also get another one here. So if we watch the total of this number change as I get new systems, we should see something. All right. So guns are good. Against ships that have no guns, that have no bullet weapons, missiles are extremely effective. If they have any slugs at all, then missiles are kind of useless. And then since we're dealing with laser weaponry, we're going to go ahead and throw shields on there. It's going to cost a little bit. We won't be able to buy that out for a while, but he's got to heal up anyways. Alright, one more turn and we'll complete that quest. Or we could just assimilate them without the quest. I'm going to save the influence, and we're just going to do the quest because we get a free... Oh, it costs us 100 dust to do the quest. That is a good question. What's more valuable to me, 100 dust or 200 influence? I'm making a lot more dust per turn than I am influence per turn. And influence per turn, there's a much smaller number of things we could use it for. So we're going to save the influence and we're going to finish the quest. We actually already spent resources to get the quest unlocked. So we might as well, we can't get him back. We might as well finish it off. One more turn. We're coming up on an hour and 40 minutes into this stream. I'm probably going to end the stream in about 2 hours. For those of you wondering how much longer we're going to be up tonight. Alright, so we just achieved this system. So now let's go check this out. So that went up by 300. So each system increases by 300? Maybe. That seems higher than normal. It could be that they have building or something. Nope, nothing out of the ordinary building wise. So maybe it is just 300. Let's change that to spin projects. And these guys have an ocean world, so Xeno-industrial infrastructure. And we'll start with that. That'll take some time. Alright, I'm going to come back to this. So now we can go ahead and get our level 1 system development. This trace has been detected, but they won't be able to get back to us very likely. So they're going to start sending a trace, but this encryption is going to slow them down. So getting an encryption in between your route and their trace can help you defensively. Lore's been compromised. We now have Amoeba in our empire. And we did get a small reward for that quest, so there was 30 blue cap mold. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab that. And then we can queue this up in each of our systems. And then we're going to need a little bit. How much do we have? We have 12. And we're getting 4 a turn, so we need 2 turns. So in 2 turns we'll get this other one. Alright. That's not bad. Unfortunately, you notice that our dust on our empire just went really crazy. That has a lot to do with these 3 ships. Each of these ships is costing us 6, so that's 36 dust, plus whatever other system-wide improvements or things they had on here. One way we can deal with this, potentially, is just to get rid of these ships. And we can do that by selling them. Each one of these ships will provide a small amount of dust and 100 manpower back to our global pool. Or we could send these ships over here and blockade. These ships are not very good, and you can't upgrade them. They're all using missiles, which are really, really bad weapons against anything but lasers. I'm going to go ahead and sell them all. We really don't need them. I'd rather just build my own ships. And now that this ship is done, I've got a probe I can throw out. We've not had any luck in this direction at all, but we'll throw one out anyways. See what we hit. And then I'm going to send him over here where I can retrofit him. And then he'll end up back in Botha at some point. Alright, technology-wise... let's grab something in this tier. Let's go ahead and grab ship upgrades. And we had a quest to build some powerful ships. And that's what we're going to do. So we'll focus on that in the next few turns. I think score-wise, considering our rough start, we're doing alright. We're sort of in the middle of the pack. The purple empire at the bottom is almost certainly the new Nakalim. The best news that I see from this is that we're in reasonable contention with our two neighbors. So they're not doing significantly better than us. And it could be because they're fighting each other. Or it could be that they just got equally bad starts. I don't know. But we're almost to turn 30, and you can see we've managed to salvage, I think, a reasonably good start. We've already got modernization available. We're going to have 4 systems here very soon. We're 22 turns away from this one, I guess. We could speed that up. One thing I haven't checked in a little while is boosters. Yeah, we're not going to have any of those boosters anytime soon. The Imperial booster would be nice if we could get it. Let's check the marketplace. Red Sang. That's over 300 dust for 5 Red Sang. It's kind of pricey. We do have income of deciduous trees, blue cap mold, Eden incense, and transvine. We don't have any use for most of these, so let's go ahead and sell these off. I want to keep the Eden incense, and then if I can buy a couple Eden incense. That's 200 dust. Ugh. Alright, I think we're just going to wait the turns to accumulate it ourselves. It's only going to be 1 turn. So then strategic wise, we could sell off a bunch of strategics if we wanted to collect a whole bunch of dust. Is there any reason to collect a whole bunch of dust at this point?
What can I do for you?
I guess we could get more support from pirates. We could also buy a pirate mark. Well, I have enough to go ahead and kick this into gear, so that cut that time in half almost. We have enough to do this now. And then we'll do the same thing with this ship once it arrives there. And now that this ship is repaired, we're going to go ahead and put him into... What's his offensive power? 116. So by upgrading this ship, we should potentially have this in check. I'm not sure if upgrades count as building. Guess we'll find out. Does not look like that did count as a building of a ship. But well, it says it's 106. Why is this one saying 100 and 16. Is it because it's leveled up? Oh, it's because it's leveled up rookie too. Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm not sure if you come out ahead in that or not, but sometimes you have a lot of dust and you don't have a lot of industry, and so that's one way to accelerate your ship acquisition. Well, we got these probes now, so let's go ahead and send out a couple more. The nice thing about titanium probes, they restock every single turn. So you basically should always shoot them out. In one turn, we're going to have efficient shielding completed, and we're going to get actual attack class ships, as well as defensive escort ships. And so we'll certainly be able to achieve this quest after getting those ships. Big data shipyards allows us to build them with a level of XP already on them. So let's go ahead and throw that in the queue. And we're getting very close to needing more space. So we might be throwing spin projects down, but we'll probably get our ships built over here first. This should be much more in our favor this time around. I'm not going to bother watching it. We already should see what's going to happen. But actually, let's go ahead and watch it, and I'll show you how effective missiles are versus ships that don't have any slug weapons. Although, I did make the mistake of not starting at long range. That would have made this even more lopsided. First one missed. Second one hit. Third one hit. Yeah, we're about 50-50 as you would expect. Now we're at short range where our guns are very, very effective, and we'll quickly finish them off. So I should have started at long range. That would have been even better. We would have taken even less damage probably. Either way, we're fine. That ship will be there next turn, and we'll have 2. I'll come back to this. Okay, we now have another lost slot, I believe. And we can go ahead and build some new ships. We're going to falsify logs to improve our relations with the pirates. Let's see how far up there.
What can I do for you?
Pretty close. Alright.
Your business is appreciated.
There we go. Now we're cordial. So as long as we stay above this line... Their fleets won't attack us, and other empires cannot place pirate marks on us. If we can uncover one of the other players' territories, we can start putting pirate marks on them, which will be fun. And now that we have 2 laws, we can run Dirty Hands Act and the colony. Okay, what else do we got here? What did we get? Eukaryotic sap. That's not a bad one. I like eukaryotic sap. That would be this one right here. So it's basically free approval on all of our planets. H-field fleet accelerators, the accelerator offensive hacking program, and snow colonization. All of which were things that are useful to us. Be the first to explore 50% of the galaxy for a big cache of titanium. We're not likely to achieve that, unfortunately. Let's take a look here. This ship is heading here. We can cut him off and shoot him down. In fact, we almost certainly should do that. On Endless, it feels like the AI expand faster than I can conquer their systems, and they spam truce deals with which to annoy me to no end. Are you talking about endless difficulty or endless speed? Or endless legend? Free real estate. I might have missed the first part of your comment there as well, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, free real estate. Okay. Yeah, the difficulty, when you give the AI endless difficulty, they cheat. They get so many free resources and accelerated speed on everything that it's almost, unless you're just really good at the game and want an exceptionally difficult challenge, it's not really fun or fair. I don't usually play on endless. I don't play on normal. I play on somewhere between hard and impossible. One of those 3 difficulty levels there. This game is actually set on hard right now, with a few little tweaks to the settings. Alright, free probes. You should launch them every turn. And we're going to go ahead and blockade, so he has to stop. He probably won't attack us, but we'll be able to attack him with 2 ships if we want. And we can get rid of his scout ship. It's fun to bully the Suffons. We need to edit this ship design. Let's see here. Yeah. Most people don't have a problem beating the game once they figure it out because the AI is just really bad. Like, they just don't do the kinds of things that any kind of reasonable player would do. I think we're gonna go with... Let's go with... something like this. This gives us 180 offensive power, which is enough to satisfy our quest. And then our escort ship. Let's see. We'll just go with guns. Let's go with shields, armor, and a manpower module. Nah, We'll go with the repair module. These ships soak a lot more fire, so getting some free repairs will be good. And then let's go ahead and get two and two for now. That's probably good enough. And we can end our turn. Oh no, we've got hacking operations. We should totally use these. Let's go ahead and try to get a back door on these pirates. I don't think we can... That's probably going to get traced. What if we go there first? That's 12 turns. That's probably too long. What if we go from here? How many turns is that? 9? Let's do that again. Alright, we need a new technology. I'm leaning towards military tech again. If we're planning on doing invasions, we're going to either want titanium slugs or tanks or both. Let's go with the titanium slugs for now. Alright. And then let's pick a fight with the Sophons. Alright, so this ship actually does have bullet weapons. So it probably makes more sense to go with Turtle and get as close to these guys as possible. Why didn't these merge? Oh, that's not cool.
Your actions will own.
Wow.
Your actions will only make the war more painful.
Okay, so they retreated. No, we're gonna refuse. If I catch your ship in my territory again, we'll blow you up. This is a new... I think both of these quests get satisfied with this one thing. But I guess let's look at the rewards. So do we want 100 dust or 30 Hyperium? 30 Hyperium is almost certainly worth more than 100 dust if we sold it. So let's just go with that since we're going to do it anyways. And then let's just verify that our ships are above that value, which they are.
Your actions will only make the...
Okay. We were... Congratulations. So we achieved this deed. We were the first to get 20 improvements. And we got a bunch of blue cap mold. We should sell that blue cap mold. And we should get this going here so that we get even more influence. And check this is 6 turns away from being completed. Alright, we are now over 2 hours. I think I am going to play it at about turn 40, but I'm going to try to increase the pace here. Turn 40 is a good place to stop. Alright, we got Lenko. We're going to make him a military commander, so we're going to go with as many of the fleet bonuses. The +4 experience per turn on fleet only applies to the ships. It doesn't apply to Um, any idea if or when I will be streaming again? Yes. I don't have a regular schedule plan, but now that I have YouTube working as a streaming service as opposed to Twitch, which was being annoying, I'm probably going to do a couple nights a week. And I usually like to stream in the evenings when I get off of work. So it'll be later in the evenings, a couple times a week. And it'll probably be mostly Endless Space and Endless Legend, maybe some Northgard. We'll see what I'm in the mood to play, and also what people are interested in watching. But yeah, I think I am going to start doing it a little bit more again, especially if people are enjoying it. So as far as abilities, again, the +4 experience per turn is pretty cool. It only applies to the ships. It doesn't apply to the hero, which is kind of annoying. But the hero does get XP based on the number of ships in his fleet. So you can get his experience pretty high just by having a very large fleet that he is in charge of. Let's go with those, and then the health. And we will not be able to assign him to this fleet until we move it. But we could assign him as an independent and then move him. So let's do that. Create fleet on... Is it Botha? Yeah. And then I need to edit his ship. He's got a lot of weapons on his ship. Let's go ahead and go with that. How many? I only get 2 of those, huh? And then something like that, maybe. Move him over here. Merge those together. And now, does it show me here? Yeah, it doesn't show me how much XP he's getting per turn. But since he's at 0, we'll see how much he's getting. It's not going to be a lot until we get more ships. Alright, so we completed this quest, which got us the hero. We need to win 5 battles now. Let's get this ship on the move. So it must be counting one of those 2 ships as being above 110 because it had a couple levels on it. So that would be 1, and then this was 2. That's the 110, but we need the other ships to get 2 above 146. I was curious why that quest didn't complete at the same time as the other one. At this point, what are we looking at here? I can go one more tier of military tech to get those tier unlocks, or we could start working on trade routes, which I think are one of the most important things in the game. So let's go ahead and get that going. So that'll be completed in 1 turn. We could grab this system if we were willing to... What do these look like? So we got a moon. And actually an approval and a food. This actually isn't the worst planet ever with those two anomalies. So we could get onto that system. I think we might want to try that. And then just get this loop going with trade routes. We still haven't uncovered anything down here yet, but we're going to very soon. We're going to move him over here and set him to blockade this system for now. So now we've got that reward. It's got our 30. Get our other point into there. Get our other ship started. And it is now midnight. It's not quite turn 40. But I think it's a good time for me to shut it down. So turn 35, I think we salvaged a pretty good start out of this really poor constellation that we got stuck in, and then just made really bad, unlucky choices with the way we sent our ships and our probes. Considering how late we got our second system up, I think we're in pretty reasonable shape. 3 systems with a 4th in 2 turns. We're good with the pirates. We don't have any immediate threats, and we have 2 potentially weak neighbors that we can conquer. This could turn into be a really good game for us in the long run. So I might pick it up. I am going to go ahead and save it. And we'll just call this Empire Stream 1. Get that saved. And let's take a look at our score. So we're sitting at 220. Horatio's only at 153. The Sophans are at 180. And we've almost caught up to the Nakalim. One thing that has a huge impact on your score is your military. So the fact that we got a couple military ships really shot our score up. The score is kind of irrelevant, but it does give you a little bit of a gauge on how other empires are doing. So yeah, altogether I think we're doing pretty well, and I think we have a good chance of doing very well in the mid to late game. But I'm going to go ahead and call it for now, so I hope you guys have a great night, and look forward to doing some more streaming for you in the future. Until then, this has been The Nose Plays, and you guys have a great night.